Welcome back to Tuesday training. We are wrapping up the month of August here, talking about calibration and assessment and all things good in the world. I am so delighted to invite you guys into another fabulous hour of community sharing and up-leveling ourselves. Hello to those of you who are joining us on YouTube. I can see us live, which means I can also see the chat. So please feel free to join us in conversation in the chat if that would serve you. I am going to serve you for the next hour. Welcome to those of you who are new here. I know so many of you have joined us in our YouTube world in the last week or two. Warm welcome to all of you. I'm so glad that you're here. If we haven't met personally, I am your host for the hour. I am Gina Schatz. I am an orthopedic bodywork specialist. I started as an LMT with a bachelor's degree and all the good things. But the most important part about that is I still work clinically, and I have for 33 years. And what I like to share with you here on Tuesday is the anatomy that I know is needed to be able to create great clinical results. And so that's what we do here every Tuesday at high noon Eastern. Welcome to those of you who are here. I'm excited. Just a programming note, I did get some inquiries about this, and I recognize where there might be an opportunity for some clarity here. Tuesday trainings, which is where we are right now here. If you're watching this live or on the replay, you are in what we call Tuesday training. My lovely beings who are here on camera with me are in the club seats, so that in our members club, you can come and work with me live on camera, and we do that just before we come live here on YouTube. There's also a couple other places where there is content, and I recognize I was getting some questions this week. Here on Tuesday training is free. You don't have to pay for it. Club seats, obviously, those folks are members, and so there is a membership with that. It's nominal, and you can also join our membership for 7 days and just check it out with no obligation to pay or stay. That's also happening. In that club, we also have monthly coursework where we go through an entire anatomy course together, and I'm in there with you to help you and support you. And there's also a ton of other training that's in that membership as well. Hey, Debbie, nice to see you here. Glad that you're here. I also do send out newsletters. So if you're not yet on our email list and you want to receive written and video trainings in your inbox, please do join us there. We have just spent a lot of time moving over our email system. So that's all clean and glitch free, as we love to brag about. So please do join us there if you want some trainings in that way. And there are opportunities to train live with me. And I don't talk about them often, but we do have an in-person workshop coming up in January where anyone's welcome to come and train with me in person. It would be obviously a destination and you'd need to make considerations for that. But live and in person we're back at it, guys. We get to be real and human and engaged. I'm excited about that. And then we also have our annual retreat. Hey, Cheryl, for Schatz Method practitioners only in the Schatz Method Mastery community, and that program is an annual program. So you probably hear us talking about that program and then thinking that everything else is in that program. And while it is, there's also other places to gain some training and some support that way. So let me know if that was clear, if that helped you answer some of the questions. I know I got several emails in the last week or two, and I wanted to just put voice to that so that you know where to get your training needs met. I do train practitioners, and especially given the new information we have, I want to really emphasize that it's not just training in anatomy. And that does follow us here on Tuesday trainings. While the content here is anatomy on Tuesday trainings, my mission in the world for all of us as a community, whether you're a Schatz Method practitioner or not, is to really up level. I've always been that way. I've always been that person that I want us to strive and thrive. Absolutely. And that requires focus in a couple places. It requires high level skill, depth of knowledge, confidence in implementation, and those three are very different. And it also, now we know, requires an expediency because we do have new considerations. Technology is adding a layer that we've not needed to consider up until now. And now we do, and so we're still going to go. And my position on that is still to get us to strive and thrive. Always. That's where my voice is, regardless of what actual content we're focused on for the day. Again, today we're going to talk about calibration and assessment. And that is our last lesson in our coursework, Inspired Beyond Anatomy Level 2, which is really about the implementation of being a practitioner, manual and movement practitioners alike. That course is currently active in our club. So all club members have access to the entire course for the month. And then, of course, next week is a new month. We are moving on to another very exciting topic. But I want to just stay here on calibration and assessment and also add our new focal point of what that means in current day, right? Here's what I love about anatomy and progression. Everything in that course, all the anatomy in that course is still accurate and up to date. The good news, I'm not a researcher except for my own clinical research, which I always report back to my practitioners. But I'm not a researcher like under a microscope and coming up with that level of research. But I do understand evidence-based and I'm here for it. The reason I'm bringing this up is the content that's in the coursework that I offer, I believe is timeless because it's the body, it's the parts and how they work. And for the most part, that doesn't change. We learn new details and new nuances, but we're not like, oh, wait a minute, it's not called the femur, it's something else. We're not there anymore. Like we're way advanced. The coursework is timeless, and what we do with it gets to continue to be updated. And that's the benefit of being live and current, right? Live with me every week while we're here, because then I can bring in the new lens of that. Similar to what we did last week when we talked about the nervous system, and I had this new viewpoint, because literally I had just had this worldly experience, or worldly, real world, well, that was worldly, real world experience. There's also more information about assessments and calibrated touch. And it's not the first time we've talked about both, even here on Tuesday training. If you want to listen to last year's conversation on this or 2 years ago, you'll find it in the YouTube channel. We have hundreds and hundreds of videos. Just type in the title and it'll probably pop up for you. Repetition is amazing. It's how we learn, and you can get that in that training. I want to give you a new viewpoint about calibration and assessment today, given where we're at right now, currently in real time. Calibration, calibrated touch as a phrase, we use in our mastery practitioner program for both manual and movement practitioners. Now, hold on a second if you're getting a little bit nervous about that. All manual practitioners get to calibrate their touch, and that is a lifetime experience. It doesn't change once you get, quote, good at your manual skills. You continue to update that. So just keep that in a frame of reference. Would you agree with that, Gary? That we get to keep, absolutely, right? We get to keep updating our manual skill and our calibration of our manual skill the whole time we're manual practitioners. It matters to movement practitioners here in a couple ways. Sometimes movement practitioners think, well, I don't know how to do that because I don't do that, but there's a place where you get to. Other times, movement practitioners might believe that manual practitioners have a leg up, and manual practitioners might forget that we also get to keep revising that and updating that. The point of what I'm trying to make here is that we're all continuing to evolve all the time. Even with calibrated touch, you don't have to be a manual practitioner to need to calibrate your touch. What I didn't say is that you then get to be a manual practitioner. I'm wildly against that. Don't do anything out of your scope. Just like we said last week, don't be armchair psychologists if you're not. And so don't be a manual practitioner if you're not. But you are still making contact with, as a movement practitioner, you're still making tangible contact with the people that you're in service to. At least most of you are, maybe not all. But if you're a yoga teacher and you're offering assists, you're touching people. If you're a trainer and you're offering alignment-based instruction and you're touching someone to move them in a certain place, you're touching them. We need to calibrate what that touch is. And of course, the type of touch and what you're doing, whether you're doing a full session of manual therapy or you're offering a hands-on assist, clearly that's different manual practices, but all of us get to calibrate our touch in whatever manual touch we're doing, whether it's a hands-on assist or a full body session. So calibrated touch, in short, means while we're thinking about the nervous system, what does it feel like to the person on the receiving end of your calibration? What does that feel like to them?